Welcome to What the Hell? David Dickerman, Johnny Skelton. Today, basically, I'm going to sip coffee while Johnny rants. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, but I have no idea what the hell I'm going to rant about today. I mean,
This is more therapeutic for you.
oh, it's a cathartic session for Johnny. I got it.
Yeah, because I've noticed that a lot of the times, even with our interview, not to say it's bad, but even with the interview with the Operation Enduring Warrior, you could have been like a 20-minute call where it was like about an hour and a half, but nothing against you. It was just...
You know, that is quite possibly one of the more backhanded comments I think I've ever heard somebody say. I mean, look
at.
It's like the line from that old movie, from that movie When Harry Met Sally. It's like, he goes, "You didn't like me back then." No, I didn't. You didn't like me. You just thought that, I had that you just couldn't take somebody not being into you as some kind of personality flaw. And he goes, You're right. You're much softer now. She goes, see, it's comments like that. And it's like, wow. I mean, you're not backing down, but at the same time, you're just kind of trying to glaze it over and hope, the new set of glasses is going to make everything look better. Well, guess what? No. It's like going from 420p to 2160, which is high definition, ultra 4K. It's like,
yeah, you can pretty much see the bitch slapping right there.
Right. It's like you see the little beads of sweat.
Yeah, in the original you see the slap. In the new 4K and everything, you see the slap, the sweat, the veins, the ripples,
waves, the ripples of the skin.
Yeah. That yeah, that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
But no, it gives us both. I've always wanted What the Hell to be like a platform for like interviews and talking to just general discussion of stuff that, and I haven't really used that platform on this. It's just like general, like one day we'll talk about.
Kind of like yesterday during the sports episode, I was ranting and going on about how inefficient and Gestapo-like that they were trying to run the new Globe Life field down there in Arlington, right? Is that
I ran through that whole thing, editing and everything. I forgot how long it was. It was pretty short. I want to say.
Pretty short.
It was half the fucking thing.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, so, okay, so, all right.
But that, like one day we'll talk about those face masks in Japan that actually look like real human masks. I've already done an episode about that, where you could possibly, rob a bank with your face, with another person's face, and they would think that it was just one of those things. It's just, once you realize the
Don't we have like an entire genre of sci-fi movies that tells us why we shouldn't have shit like that, though?
Actually, no. No, we got Face Off. Technically, that's a sci-fi. It was an action thriller, but it was sci-fi. We have Total Recall.
Total Recall, and if you really want to stretch it, there's the mask that they use in the Mission Impossible movies.
Okay.
Where they have the voice changer.
And some of the stuff for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So, see, not that there is if you want to come around and think about it, there really isn't that much on that, though.
Yeah, but still, I mean, to quote Jeff Goldblum and Ian Malcolm. It's the beloved character from Jurassic Park, in case some of you at home are keeping score.
Oh yeah, and
we invested so much time in trying that we didn't stop to ask ourselves if we should. So
yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I mean,
it's not even one of those situations where life will find a way. It's not even that. It's just, we just don't need certain things. Like, okay, for example, I know this is really kind of going off into left field, like Altered Carbon. Have you watched that on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. It's like, okay, if we're going to be reduced to basically glorified USB thumb drives, and we can just have ourselves inserted into meat sleeves, really? Come on.
I like
Why?
meat sack better.
Meat sack. Well, yeah, meat sack.
It
Yeah, as long as you
rolls
just
off the
don't get
tongue a little bit.
yeah, as long as you just don't get shot in the deck, you're okay, right?
Yeah.
A true death. Yeah. Overall, I liked
For
that
the
series.
longest time in the beginning of that series, when they said it like that, in my mind it's just like, if you get shot in the dick, I was like, you say dick or deck? I gotta rewind that. I had to
Right.
rewind it like 3 times just to get
Well, Netflix, like because yesterday we were going off about how Netflix kind of is starting to emulate Fox a little bit, and they find something good, this diamond in the rough that's got a really devout following, and they cancel it.
Well, Lee, the thing about Netflix, though, they actually give it at least another season.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that with Altered Carbon, though. And it's like,
No, that's canceled.
yeah, they canceled Altered Carbon, and I'm like, I want that storyline to continue.
It was an interesting storyline. The only thing I'm really interested in watching, I think it's coming out this month, and it's only going to be like 2 hours for the whole series, is Love, Death, Robot.
Oh, freaking love Death Robots.
God, yeah. I love
it's to me, it was kind of like the modern day.
Twilight Zone.
No, it's like the modern day heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I got you on that. But it was more. It was like it was just like heavy metal because Twilight Zone didn't get into that much in depth in it, but
Yeah.
heavy metal did,
Yeah.
which was really really good.
Because with the original heavy metal movie, not this heavy metal 2000 bullshit. No. The
No,
original,
I'm talking about the magazine itself.
yeah, well, they had the magazine, but I mean, with the magazine especially, you had your different styles of artists, your different mediums upon which they used to tell their story, and that transferred over into the original movie. You had your standard animation. You had your I want to say his name is Frank Frazzetti.
The guy that did the Xenomorphs?
No.
Because that guy, he actually worked on heavy metal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, because heavy metal came out in '81. So,
Yeah.
let me see here. It was directed by Gerald Potterton, produced by Ivan Reitman. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was. If
No, I
you get to
remember-
the 2020, the 2000 one, which was crap.
Yeah.
'Cause it
Now,
just
I
went
do
from
remember
one
that
story.
John Candy had a voice in that.
No, he did like
He did several voices in it.
yeah,
but,
several
but
characters.
Harold Ramis offered his voice talents for that as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, it's one of those things. Is if you look at it, it was heavy metal. If you really want to look at it, it was the modern day Monty Python because a lot of the actual good actors and good voices and everything like that, they did all this stuff for like pennies on the dollar. Just like Monty Python, that whole film was only made because rock stars wanted to see it.
Yeah.
All the rock stars put their money towards that movie. It wasn't any kind of film development or anything like that. They loved those guys and they gave them the money. That's how that movie was made.
Yeah, but I mean, like the heavy metal soundtrack. I mean, the Blue Oyster Cult, Donald Fagen, Stevie Nicks, Journey, Riggs. I mean, it was just wow. I mean, there was some good music in there. But I mean, if we're going to find anything that's got, a modern day equivalent of what we had as, heavy metal back in the '80s. I mean, Love Death Robots. I
That's the
loved that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, even the new Castlevania series. I really love that. It's really good.
Yeah, but I mean, with Castlevania, I mean, you're specifically, I mean, you're really kind of, I don't want to use the term pigeonholing, but it, it just wasn't. It's one story. I mean, it's just the one story. Gotta love residential studios.
What do you mean?
We are subject to the environmental
Oh,
factors
yeah.
of everything. So yeah. But yeah, no.
There's actually a band called Xenomorphs. Xenomorphs is a Dutch metal band formed in 1994 in the Netherlands. Of course, I think the same guy, artist H.R. Jinners. He's from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the rant?
Oh, okay. Okay, that was the rant. Let me see here.
But
I mean, we need to bring back. I mean, God, no. You know what? No, because I don't want to fall into that. Well, you're just jumping on the bandwagon of the unimaginative Hollywood where they just reboot everything.
Well, they rebooted Amazing Stories, Steven Spielberg's things from the 80s.
Yeah, I remember
on
those.
Apple.
Oh, those were so good.
And they're really, yeah. It's basically, if you think it's the Twilight, they redid Twilight Zone too,
Mm-hmm.
and Outer Limits. Those shows can be rebooted, and they have been rebooted. Actually, yeah, Twilight Zone and Outer Limits have been rebooted. Amazing Stories. The reason why you can you're not rebooting the show, you're rebooting the name.
Mm.
That's all you're doing, because you're just making newer stories. Because all those were just different stories for each episode. That's what made them so great. You can basically throw something on it and go, oh, we're going to do Outer Limits. But it's mostly the ones from Twilight Zone that are doing the writing and everything like that.
As much as I like Forrest Whitaker, talking about the Outer Limits, when they rebooted the Outer Limits and they had him do the narration, just didn't have the same feel. It just wasn't, like, oh, we're going to take control. I mean, he's just too soft-spoken. Like, he didn't have that monotone kind of creepy 50s voice to it, you know. It didn't sound like an ad man.
Yeah,
you know?
Okay. I got you.
Going back to the heavy metal thing, I was trying to think of the name of the artist, Frank Frazetta. There was a line of trading cards back in the 90s. I used to have this whole set, and I wish to God I still had it. It was called Fire and Ice, right? And it actually, there was actually an animated movie called Fire and Ice. And it was good.
I had that collection too. They had so much great artwork. I love this one that was like Angel and Demon.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was just gorgeous.
Talking about the old school artist, Frank Thorne, the man who created Red Sonja.
Yeah.
He just died.
Really?
Yeah, back on the 9th of March last month. Died at 90 years old, and his wife, Marilyn, reportedly died 6 hours later.
Couples like that, usually they die.
Yeah.
And who was the artist that we were saying?
Frank Thorne. He was like pre-Marvel guy. Pre-Marvel. I mean, he worked for DC.
Wow, there's like
back when DC kind of owned the superhero genre, right? I mean, he penciled several stories for like Dell 4-color series.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it included it was like a different subject every month. It was like a month to month. Let me see here. It was like for a little like often licensed properties like TV shows or Disney movies, right? He would like write these and draw out these like stories from month to month, kind of a thing. It was like I don't want to say like a Pulp Fiction, but it was like a penny novel or something like that they would throw out there, right? Just for like people to pick up. He has credits for things like teenage romances, wartime romances.
Well, a lot of the times the artists back then, and I went in on this with Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
They would pen Jack Kirby was different. He was a different kind of animal because he would like spend about 14 hours just drawing. He would do a complete comic book within like a day.
Yeah.
Which is nowadays people get freaked out with that stuff. But back then though, that was kind of the regime because that's the only way they could actually make any money.
Yeah.
Is they would just throw artwork, and a lot of the times it hurt the artist because a lot of the artwork was really downplayed.
Yeah.
But you have some artists that can just pull out like a whole freaking couple of pages within a week.
Right. Well, okay. So Robert Howard, the guy that created Conan, Conan the Barbarian, He's just from down the road. I forget what town it is. It's like it's between here and Brownwood.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I read about him.
Yeah,
Dude, he was.
but Robert Thorne, Frank Thorne, he drew Red Sonja.
Pasteur, Texas, and he died in Cross Plains, Texas.
Yeah, but if you drive through Cross Plains,
Mm-hmm.
the town library, it's got a Conan the Barbarian like mural on the side of the building.
I'm gonna go there just to see that.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool. Like when I was married, we used to go to Brownwood every once in a while. And we'd always drive through Cross Plains, and it's right there. It's on the right hand side of the road.
Have you ever heard how he wrote Conan?
No, I do want to get into that though.
No. It's real. It's off the wall.
Really?
Yeah, because the way he did it, because he was on a lot of drugs.
Why does that not surprise me?
And he would cover the windows and everything like that with wood and everything like that.
So he just tripped balls.
He did the book in 3 days.
Oh wow!
Because he thought he couldn't stop and he couldn't sleep because Conan's right behind him, ready to cleave his head off with his axe.
You tell my story or I kill you. No, that's
that's how he wrote his books. Wow. I mean, he had a lot of books. I mean, he had Cole the Conqueror, Red Sonja.
Yeah. We'll see with Red Sonja. So Frank Thorne.
Kane.
Yeah. So I mean, Frank Thorne. Because Red Sonja she didn't make her like debut until she hit Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And that was in Marvel Feature number 2.
Yeah.
Or no, Marvel Feature number 1.
And that was in the 70s.
Yeah, it was the 70s. Originally, there was a guy by the name of Dick Giordano. Anyways, Thorne took over as the artist in the second issue and then remained Sonja's artist throughout this title's 7th and final issue, dated November of 76. And then Red Sonja got her own title beginning in January of the following year.
Yeah.
And he illustrated everything. He did it all. He penciled, ink, colored, lettering, and cover art. I mean, he did this all the way through issue number 11. And back then, I mean, that was kind of a big deal. And so she was really, I think, Marvel's sort of kind of answer for Wonder Woman, so to speak. And while she didn't have the longevity, and then that was it, Brigitte Nielsen. I mean, they had that really, really bad movie from the 80s, Red Sonja.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And the only reason...
Okay. Now I say bad. Looking bad, it was bad. Or looking back, it was bad, rather. But, at the time, here I am, like, prepubescent me. I'm like, she's got big tits.
You know the reason why they made Red Sonja?
Go for it.
They couldn't get the rights to Conan, but they could get the rights to Red Sonja. Because the movies did so well, the Conan movies did so well. Mm-hmm. But Arnold still wanted to make a kind of a Conan movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason
why. He was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, as Conan.
No.
I thought he was.
He couldn't use the Conan name.
They implied it. That's what it was.
Yeah, they implied it.
Because you never heard his name, but it was implied that's who it was.
That actually makes me kind of curious.
Because when he popped up on the screen, I'm like, oh, that's Conan the Barbarian. And I'm assuming that everybody else had the same idea, but they never addressed him by his name in that movie.
Yeah. No, I think they did. Let me see here.
If they did, it was
Lord Kellador? That's what his name was on that. It's Lord Kellador.
See, they missed an opportunity to not name him at all.
Yeah. They could
have that would have been like the ultimate middle finger back then.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, today, that would have been like legend status right there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because the lot of the stuff.
Fucking.
I mean, it's so sad that a lot of stuff and they're actually making a new Red Sonja movie. Well, Marvel owns the rights, so yeah, they're using the chick. Supposedly, they're using the chick from Ant-Man and the Wasp, person that played Ghost, to do that. That's one thing I kind of. kind of got upset.
No, see, to me, it's like, okay, if now with the exception of Chris Evans, because he was part of that whole 20th Century Fox universe, and he played the Human Torch. He played Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
In the original Fantastic Four, and then obviously he found his calling as Captain America.
Oh, and he also did Scott
Pilgrim
Saves the World. That's another comic book movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Scott Pilgrim Saved the World. Yeah. Brandon Routh was. Dude, there were so many superhero actors in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
There's another movie that Brandon Routh.
Flowers, though.
Yeah.
She was hot. Anyways.
There was another. There is a. Yeah, your girlfriend watches this, right?
I'll tell her about it, and she'll be okay. So she'll be prepped
Okay.
and ready to go.
Just make sure you don't have to come over here and you're crying on my damn shoulders.
Oh, there'd be no crying. No crying at all.
I don't even say that now.
Yeah.
But no. What was I thinking about? No. There's a Brandon Roth movie that not a lot of people know about. That's where he played like a go-between a detective, and he played a detective for the supernaturals and everything. It was a decent movie. There's this one scene that it's just so funny. Is he goes up, someone's trying to intimidate him, in like the first couple of scenes, and he has the gun already cocked and everything, and Brandon Roth's character waits. So it's like, you got the gun already cocked. You're not gonna, if you can't intimidate with a gun to my head, you have the cocking to verify, it's loaded and everything like that, and you cock it back on the second time. You don't cock it the first time. What are you gonna do next? Wave it at me? And the guy goes. I was like, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
But
the thing about Red Sonja, like, okay, Frank Thorne, he couldn't take it where he wanted with either Marvel or DC.
Oh, I bet he wanted to do some weird stuff.
Well, he did. He actually ended up going to places like Heritage Publishing. You had those micro publishers back in the day where it was almost kind of like Image Comics was back in the early 90s.
Yeah. Well, Image Comics is actually still really good.
It is. But I'm talking about as far as like when Image Comics was first set up. They didn't have like the colorists per se. They had that computer program where they would scan the artist's pen work in. It would get inked, and they would scan it, and then it would use like this chameleon type, it was almost like a Photoshop program to do the coloring with.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of like the safe haven for a lot of the
painters,
the artists to come in, pitch their characters that they otherwise couldn't get anywhere else.
Well, the whole thing with Image Comics is,
because that's where we got like Chapel from Youngblood. And Rob Liefeld, he couldn't get Chapel pitched at Marvel, and he had to leave behind Cable. He had to leave behind Deadpool.
Well, the story of Image, I mean, there's a lot of documentation on that too. But the story on Image is, it's not because the artist wanted to do more art. It was money.
Yeah,
that's all it came around to. And it was one of those things to where it was, even to this day, Image Comics, I love their company policy. Mm-hmm. Some of the comics I don't really like. I'll read a couple of them occasionally, but their company policy is the creative team, not the company.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you make the comic, it's yours.
Yeah.
You own the rights to that. If you want to sell the rights, it's like there's a weird thing that happened with Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane. Yeah.
What happened is Neil Gaiman owned the rights to Angela.
Yeah, Angelica. Yeah.
Yeah, he sold those rights to. Because he got pissed off at Todd McFarlane for some ungodly reason. It was some kind of, but he got that character back.
Right. Yeah.
And he sold it to Marvel, and now Marvel uses it. And she's actually in. They had a whole freaking storyline with her, with Asgard.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing about like Angelica, she was the the Spawn hunter.
Yeah.
And he introduced that. Because I think that was what? That was issue number 7 or something like that. I mean, Angelica was
really low.
Really early on.
Yeah.
And she had her own little sides, like her sides, like a little spin-off series.
Yeah.
Under the Image banner. And Todd pinned that stuff.
Yeah.
Neil wrote it, but Todd pinned it.
Yeah, but because it was some weird loophole that he owned, because he wrote it.
Yeah.
He wrote the character and everything. He created the character.
Yeah.
He got to keep that character.
Yeah. And the fact that Marvel kind of came in, it's like, oh, well, here, we'll accept that. And I don't know. I mean,
it was one of those things.
Don't get me wrong. We can disparage Marvel Comics. I mean, we can basically disparage any of the studios. That's fine. But
actually, we can disparage as much as I like comic books and everything like that.
Yeah.
You get into deep dive and stuff like that. Like you can get a deep dive about Bowfinger.
Yeah.
Bowfinger, he died penniless and suicidal and depression and everything like that. And the only thing that he really has for him is his future generations that had, now he's creative for Batman.
Yeah.
The only thing that he actually, I mean, it was in a documentation I watched one time, was the best time in his life before he died and everything was the fact that he wrote one of the episodes of the 1966 Batman TV series. He loved the fact that his name was on there. That brought him a little bit more back from his depression.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
But that's just companies in general, really.
Yeah, I just I really wanted to get back into collecting comic books, but then I was just like, oh my God. There's so much, like from the time that I stopped collecting and stopped, like hardcore reading them to now, I think like Spawn's up to like issue 318.
Yeah.
And I'm just
I'll send
holy
you
crap.
I'll send you a website just so if you just want to read it and not collect.
Well, I mean, I would have loved to have gotten back into collecting, but one,
space.
Oh my God! Like, okay, so
dude, I was like, because
like
my recently
right now,
purchase for a comic book, which was really strange, is the first appearance of Punisher.
Yeah.
And I think I bought that for $300, and it was 9.8. And the next month, I ended up going to a comic book convention. And I was wearing my Punisher shirt and everything. And I did the convention and everything. And the guy was like, "Oh, you like Punisher? I got a first appearance of Punisher and everything like that." I was like, "That's all right, dude. I got a 9.8. It's no big deal." He's like, oh, really? Why don't you sell it? I was like, why don't I sell it? I just got it for like $300. You paid $300 for a 9.8 Punisher comic. I was like, the fuck is it up to now? It was up to like $5,000.
Oh, good God. I'd have been like, dink.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I miss from back in the days? Wizard.
Yes.
The Wizard Price Guide.
No, I miss all those little magazines that you could get, like for Magic the Gathering, Inquest, or just the collectible cards.
Yeah.
Inquest. That's what it was. It was Inquest.
Yeah, Inquest was for the games, for the collectible cards.
Card games.
But Wizard specifically was for comic books.
And they had and they
came out monthly.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that is so awesome. And then,
you don't have that. Well, you kind of have that with YouTube stuff and everything like that.
Yeah, but there's no like place. Like, okay, so for example, like, because you know that I collect the Funkos, right?
Yeah.
So, like right now, like there's an app that you can. Like for what I do, I don't just indiscriminately go out and buy Funkos. Like I kind of look at it from like an investment point of view. You'll see me. And it's annoying. I know it annoys the shit out of people when I go into the store. But like I pull my Funko app up, and you can actually scan the barcodes on the bottom of these boxes.
Really?
And it tells you what they're trending for.
Oh.
And like right now, I've got 70 pieces currently in my collection.
Okay.
And it's valued at $1,556.
Wow.
Like I've got a Sorcerer Mickey, the 10-inch one.
Yeah.
From Fantasia. It's worth $60. I paid 15 for it.
Oh, okay.
The
only
and
problem,
I find like these really awesome deals. Like,
well, the only problem I have with something like that, and this is not annoying me or anything. That doesn't annoy me because I would probably end up doing the same thing if I had the chance.
right.
But what really gets me is when Magic really it was like the early 2000s. Magic started hitting like really hardcore. All the collectible card games, like it was just a boom, atomic bomb.
Yeah.
What it ended up happening, I was in. This is when I was in Dias, and a new set dropped, and I was like, oh, I'll go up to Toys R Us and buy a box. Toys R Us is usually cheap on the boxes. Went to Toys R Us, they're all sold out. When I found out, because one of the mothers was pissed off, she's like, I can't believe that freaking store bought all the guy that worked that had his own collectible card game store downtown of Abilene bought all the boxes, every one of them.
And then he opened them up and sold the cards individually.
No, he didn't even do that. It was even a worse finger to the face. He said it was like, well, if you, and it was around Christmas time. It was like, well, if you want to buy your kids a box, come to my store.
And he'd mark it up.
And he would mark it up.
See, man, I know that there's no way to police that, but to me, that's like those college kids that set out on Black Friday. You know, they're like, oh well, I'll hold your place in line for XYZ, or they'll get there really early and they'll get like Best Buy. They used to do, I don't know if they still do, the vouchers for certain items, and then they'll sell the vouchers to people and then give them their place in line.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like,
well,
the Best Buy here, like the first couple of years, I think it was like 5-6 years ago, something like that. They were doing that for like laptops, you know, or TVs or whatever. And these two guys from MSU went over to Best Buy, camped out, got vouchers for some of the bigger ticket items. No intentions of buying any of it. All these people were showing up and they were like, hey, I've got vouchers for this stuff. I don't want to sit in line anymore. I'll sell my vouchers for this. And they were selling the vouchers for the price of the item. And then the people were turning around, going into the store, and then paying the price again for the item that they just bought the voucher for.
That's fucking ingenious.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's ingenious. I mean, kudos to those guys. But at the same time, it's like, at a certain point, I'm all about trying to, make a buck. I get all that, but I mean, we do live in a free capitalistic society for a reason. Yeah. Let the market do what the market's going to do. But at a certain point, there has to be some kind of like business ethics involved. It's like, okay, you're taking advantage of the desperation of people.
They teach business ethics in college. They should have known better.
Yeah, well,
those bastards.
They cheat it. I mean, they teach it, but they weren't applying it. And I'm like, okay, how do you feel? I mean, how? I mean, I'm sure that
I wouldn't have any problem with it. I mean,
you got to look at it. To me, I would, because you got to look at it from the standpoint of, all right, look, I know I'm hard up for money, and that's fine. That's on me. And if I'm gonna, if you're gonna sell those vouchers for something, don't sell it for the price of the damn item, because people
sell it for more of a. Well, they do have laws for stuff like that.
Yeah, it's scalping tickets. Yeah. Basically, is what they were doing. But it's like, okay, all right, instead of selling it, you're like, all right, look, I'll give you, we'll say $15 for my place in line, and we'll just do like $40 for the voucher. And then at that point, it's like, okay, well, you're not gouging the shit out of them. And it's like these jackasses that go out and they buy the consoles the day that they come out, right? And they snatch them all up. They go and they pre-order like 5-6 of them. And then they'll put them on the marketplace on Facebook for like a 25, 30, 45, sometimes 50%.
No, even worse is, okay, read what you have, you're buying and everything.
Yeah.
Because there are, and this happens every time they do consoles, when the new console comes out and everything, everybody's rushing to buy it. because they're idiots and they don't wait a year to see what if the console has like a lot of fuck ups.
Or is it PS5s were catching fire?
Yeah,
It's like never buy day one release stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
exactly.
Oh my god, you wait till the second run. Everybody knows that.
But
no,
I love
it's the soccer moms and the college kids with nothing better to do than to spend their parents' money.
Or I want to make my kid happy. But anyways, and this is not. There's a gray area. Let's just say that.
Right. Okay.
Where these people are selling boxes, they're putting down, this is a box of a PS5, or this is a box of a Xbox SX series.
Yeah.
This is a box, and they're selling it for $1,000, and people are getting upset. I was like, okay, one. Did any place?
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, it was on eBay. A guy sold a box for a PS5.
Mm-hmm. It happens every time, though.
And then he put it in parentheses in real fine print down at the bottom of the posting. This is not a console. It is a box only.
No, not even the fine print. There's a lot of them that don't even put it in fine print. They tell you boldly,
yeah,
in bold letters, this is a box, because they don't want any kind of legalization on it.
Because then PayPal can't come back and be like, oh well, we're going to refund you this money. Like, no, I sold you, and they put it up for the auction. They you can enter your bids for it.
Yeah,
and they don't put a buy it now price.
Yeah, they just there you go. And people like spend about thousands of dollars on it, and it's like, oh, it's a box. Oh, I should have read the fine print.
Yeah, okay, like or instances like that. I mean, where you give the people warning, like, look, this is what you're actually buying.
Yeah.
Don't be a dickhead.
Well, they used to do it all the time. I used to sell. I was strapped for cash when I was in the military, but I would sell game items from Diablo 2. That was the thing.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, like, people would sell their accounts. They still do it in, like, World of Warcraft to an extent.
Yeah, it's just a lot smaller. I think
Blizzard kind of cracked down on that, though.
No, they didn't crack down on it. It's just, it's a lot easier to level.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to level. And I know that back in the day, like, they had people that they'd farm accounts specifically for the purpose of selling them.
There are people out there that they would have, like, I think the max I've seen was probably about 4 accounts, and they would party together, and they would go into, like, PvP and everything like that. I mean, one fireball's bad, or one ice ball's bad, but 4 of them all at the same time, because they're all interconnected and everything like that. He's using one keyboard and one mouse, and he's basically guiding 4 characters at one time, and boom, boom. They all.
Oh, they're going after the rare items.
That and it's the basic fact of you have 4 characters shooting the same target all at the same time,
right?
In conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird stuff, and it's one of those things that is just you see it in one person's world and everything like that, and it's like, that possible?
Yeah,
it just amazes you. It's like what working corrections is, how a lot of the people there working corrections and everything like that, how they make do. I mean, I've seen people like iron their jumpsuits, yeah. And what they do is they take like starch from the kitchen, and they would like soak them in the starch water.
Yeah.
And they would just pretty much paint it on the wall.
Yeah.
And they would rip them off and everything. It would be like it literally was like cardboard.
Yeah, it was like the old school BDUs.
Yeah.
You'd basically go to muscle failure to get your arm or legs through the pants or sleeves.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Like for me, like I when I buy a game, I buy the digital copies sometimes. And that's just because, like, if I only want to maybe spend, like, if it's a game that I'm not all that excited about, but the boys really want to play, then I'll get, like a digital copy, so that way we can,
Traded in.
Well, not traded in, but it's like we can maybe like play it together or something like, we're gonna catch hell for this. Like Call of Duty, I wasn't really all that excited about playing like the multiplayer, but at the same time, I was like, all right, my kids like to play it, so I'll do that. We can kind of get on there and jam out a little bit.
I just play the PvP. Then usually I just get bored of it.
Like the campaign, I'll play that. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm very old school, and I like to have that physical copy, right? And if I'm not buying it new, I'll get like a really good condition, previously owned copy through like GameStop or something like that. But I've got this thing where it's like, okay, I'll find a game that I've been looking for, that I've been wanting to play, and I'm like, yeah, there it is. But if it doesn't come in the original case with the art, with the cover art, I won't fucking buy it. Because you know how like GameStop, they'll have those generic black cases with the covers that they print out with just the game title on it. I won't buy those.
I bet you were a hell when you had to go buy a movie from Blockbuster.
I never bought my movies from Blockbuster. If I wanted a movie bad enough, I would go to the store and I would physically buy it. And then when Blu-ray came out, I just stopped buying DVDs because you get that progression of technology, right? You had the people like back in the late 70s, early 80s, you had the laser discs, right?
Yeah.
I had a Laserdisc player. My parents had a Laserdisc player. We had like Airplane, the original Airplane movie.
They were basically like two of the...
Yeah, it was like two big-ass floppy discs,
Well, it was a record.
Well, yeah, it was a record, yeah. But we had the Laserdiscs, and then everybody got into VHS, right? It's like everybody owned two VCRs because why? You could slave them together and you could record. You could copy the tape that you rented from Blockbuster.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny, and the only reason why a lot of renting places became a thing was the basic fact of the original VHS, because the studios thought, it was like, if they can buy the movie, they won't ever, they'll just give it to all their friends, so we have to make it very expensive, because the original VHSs were like $100 a pop.
Yeah.
And that's how, I'll buy
the Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Okay. You get these like the studios, and they would pick a title that they would just kind of crowd around and be like, this is going to be the big title for home release. Hunt for Red October on the original VHS was a red cassette. It was a red VHS tape.
Yeah.
Okay, $100 for that movie, right? Yeah. And then the studio got behind it when they got a hold of Nintendo back in the day, and they were like, we want this game. And that's when I learned a very valuable lesson, that games based off of movies usually suck.
We never had any kind of luck. I mean, even the original Batman.
The Hunt for Red October, the game, I mean, it was a pain in the ass to get through. You couldn't fucking save. You had to play it all the way through on a single play, right?
Oh, fuck that.
And if your game was over, like the game over screen, you run out of lives or whatever, the game over screen was the exact screen that you saw if you beat the game. That was the biggest letdown. It was like, and I'm going to use this as a comparison, but it's like you get a date with the hottest girl at school,
and you find out she's a dead leg.
Yeah, I mean, and
I gave you that freaking thing.
Yeah, and it's like you find out that she's just horrible. It's like, I might as well just go home and take care of this myself, because at least then I'll get some feedback. But
I did that with one chick that ended up stalking my best friend. She was freaking hot, but I mean, I've probably one of the few men that actually had a fake orgasm just to get it all done. I know how women feel.
I faked it too, but yeah, dude, no. Anyways, not going to get into that discussion. Anyways,
maybe one of these days.
That'll be an off camera talk conversation, because it's just gonna no. But anyways, see, now my girlfriend's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, "You did?" And I'm like, "Yeah, never."
No. What you do? No, what you do is.
Anyways, no, we're going down that road, and I'm not going. I'm not going to let that happen. No, dear God, no.
I'm the fuck out of here.
No, I'm like, pop and smoke, get the fuck out of here, dude. Unask the fucking AO, bro. Move out, draw fire. But anyway, so it's
Now you know how it
movie-based video games are horrible, and we found that out.
Well, they were back in the day. I don't.
And that wasn't even the tangent that I was going on. No, we were going from Laserdisc to VHS, and you were talking about how expensive VHS is. But anyways, but then we moved into DVDs, right? And so DVD, like, oh, you could pause it, and the screen wouldn't jump around. Like, oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first DVD that I bought. The first DVD movie was The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, because that movie, that's just kind of one of those hell yeah movies. You know? But then when Blu-rays first came out, right? The technologies for the TVs really wasn't all like up to par.
What got me on the Blu-rays though was I was really against Blu-rays because I wanted. This is gonna sound really weird, but I wanted the downgraded value of the video.
Yeah, it's kind of like listening
because
to music
it looked
on vinyl.
really because of Blu-ray. Because watching Transformers on Blu-ray was weird.
Yeah,
you want that magistrate of.
You want some of that frame overlap. Yeah,
it could be real.
Yeah.
And now that you look at it now, it's like I would buy Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
All the technology's finally caught up. It finally caught up with it
but here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, and then we're going to continue to see this progression, and we're going to have to wrap it up here. But
yeah,
we moved into Blu-rays. Was buying movies on Blu-ray. We got 4K. We got these TVs, and then when they introduced 4K, now if I buy a physical copy of a movie, it has to be the 4K Blu-ray. Get your 4K Blu-ray players. It usually comes standard in every console that's out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a single person that's gone out of their way to buy a dedicated 4K Blu-ray player because they've got the video game consoles, right?
Yeah.
But like the Marvel movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was the first 4K Blu-ray that they had released with a Marvel title, right? And ever since then, it's like, okay, I'm not buying the Blu-rays because, It's like that meme with Drake, where he's like,
yeah.
You still see that DVD bargain bin, and I hate the fact that I feel like kind of an elitist when I talk about it like that now, but it's like I look at that bargain bin, it's like $5 for a movie. Peasants. Peasants with their low quality standard definition. It's like...
Well, I did the same thing with you with the coffee, and you're like, oh man, I got the caffeine as fuck. I was like, I got Sweet Van in my bag. What?
Yeah, anyways. It's still the same coffee company.
But you want to feel that superiority sometimes. Just
yeah, you do.
You're humble.
It's
but
human nature.
Yeah,
it's human nature. You want to have somebody to look down upon because it's like, damn it, we've been.
You
want to
be better than the Joneses. You want to be better than.
You do. You want to be better than the Joneses. It's like, you know what, Mr. Griswold, fuck you, because my house has got more lights on it.
Yeah.
It's like, It's like, yeah, Cousin Eddie. Not only is my shitter full, but the septic tank is backed up too. So what do you think about them apples?
The water department just called me 5 minutes ago trying to find out if I have some kind of intestinal problem. Right. That's how backed up my shit is.
Right. I mean, you're going to be out there pumping your gray water while you're wearing a tanker cap and a freaking robe. Dude, I'm out here in a Speedo and a pair of Oakleys.
No. Even worse. And then I just come out with like one of those half Speedos.
Oh, like the banana hammock thing? Yeah, no.
It's like half. It just does the groin.
Oh, it's more like a sling than anything.
Yeah.
Oh God, dude, no. That's just no.
Yeah.
Now that I got to stick.
You're welcome.
I have to put a stick in my ear to gouge that out of my brain now.
You can keep that. Don't bleach your eyes when you go home.
Oh God.
Don't drink bleach to get rid of the brain stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. We need to. I think we need to do more like comic book crap. And you know what? Next time that we do a What the Hell, we really need to focus on like technology. And would be completely and totally awesome is if we get somebody from Best Buy, like a supervisor or somebody like that, to sit there and be like, okay.
Half the time, those people don't know shit.
But that's kind of the point.
The only person that we could get on here that knows a lot about technology, other than me. Well, I got two people.
No. That's not. Here's the angle I was going for.
Okay.
Like, they lend us TVs of different, different picture qualities, so that way we can definitively decide which is better for the purpose of a podcast and educating
Dude,
our
I've
audience.
watched too many mafia movies. You know how many of those damn things are going to fall off the goddamn fucking truck?
And that's our problem. Okay, that's our problem to overcome. How? I mean, I'm not seeing where you are translating this into.
I'm just saying. I can't say.
I mean, if it falls off the back of a truck, as long as the box hits the water, and then at that point it's considered salvage, and by maritime law, legally ours.
I'm willing to try this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. We're just talking shit on this one.
That was a stretch.
Love you guys. Follow us, like, comment.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, smash that subscribe button, hit the bells for the notifications. So that way, anytime we get anything on this channel come up new, you're going to be the first ones to know about it. Definitely get engaged in the comment section.
Check us out on Facebook too. I mean, Facebook's kind of weird nowadays, and I'll take this. It'd be like 3 minutes. Facebook's been kind of weird to the point to where it's more or less it's not a gathering of friends, but it's a gathering of different people trying to make a buck.
Yeah, it's almost kind of become like a micro or a macro marketplace.
Yeah, it's not even worth. It's really not even worth going on Facebook.
There's so many ads on there now.
Yeah,
but,
it's.
Yeah, and
it's like that one. It's
ads,
like that one part in Ready Player One when they were trying. It's like we can optimize this so the person doesn't go into a. It would just be like a kind of small hair to where they'll have epileptic seizures.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We're gonna start talking. If you visit the online store, definitely check out our shirt. I know that we've got just the one right now.
I just got to get on Artist, and I found out through our stuff that I can just set it to where it go. I just put my artwork and everything like that, or I put the artwork on there, and a different company makes the shirt for us, and it ships to you.
Yeah. So I mean.
So I've finally gathered that.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah. So we're working out the business model as far as the T-shirts are going to be concerned. I mean, hell, if you guys have any kind of like,
well, they're actually going to do hats and everything for us. So
yeah.
it's going to be
So we'll have like an actual merch store. So
yeah.
I mean, if anybody's got like an idea for like a design or something that you think that you'd like to see, definitely give us a holler. Hit us up on. I don't know.
You can do Facebook. I got my number right there. Just make sure if you call. Most people don't call anymore, so just text me.
Just send us. Yeah, just hit us up. Hit us up on the Facebook Messenger. Just text us through that app, and but until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, love you guys. Bye.